Hey there, this is Tato Gwynn. This is me and Jean Charles Doe's test pitch simulation for our Railroad VHDL project. I'm going to run our test bench here. Okay, I'm going to extend a little bit extra time so we can see everything that's going on. And we're going to start at the top here. And as we go through this, make sure you can see good here, we have our clock. So there's our simulated clock. Then we have this next one that's called Sec Pulse. In the actual hardware, it'll be every second that it goes, but in the test bench, what we did is we changed the speed of it. We didn't change it in the test bench file, we changed it in the actual file. We'll have to change it back, but it's going every 50 nanoseconds just to make everything run smoothly. Here's our state machine, and we go from waiting for start count, that's our countdown as it goes to get ready to start pushing the buttons. Then we go to play mode, that's where we push our buttons. And then after that, we go into decision mode. And from there, we can either go to timer, or we can go, sometimes it goes to timer, sometimes it'll go to player 1 button press, sometimes player 2 button press, and then that signals the point of sign. We'll get to that in a second. And then after that, it goes to final test to see if anyone's gotten 21 points. If the game is not over after final test, it goes back to wait for start, where you hit the start button, and we go through it all again. Here at the beginning, we are going to hit the start button. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, here we go. We hit the reset button. We're in wait for start. We hit the start button, goes through the sync chain, initiates countdown mode. That's when we go into start count. Then we have our down count, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're ready to play. At the same time that it's counting down, we've got our LEDs that are counting down also. So we're in down count, we're counting down. Now it's time to play, and we can start hitting the buttons. So here are the buttons. We have P1 button, that's when you, let me move it over so you can see the label. P1 button, okay, so you hit the button, and then button raw is the signal that goes through the sync chain, and comes out as the P1 sync. Same thing here with player 2, P2 sync. Okay, so it's synchronizing. Let's go through just to clean up those signals so that there are no surprises. All right, so down here we have P1 count, P2, P1 press count, P2 press count. Those only count during play mode. And play mode so we're in play mode, which enables this play mode signal right here, play mode signal. And as that signal's going, we're counting everything. And then once we get to a total of 16, then this signal is cut off. We move to the next state, the decision state, and the points aren't assigned. So, or the points are assigned after that point. So it's 13-3. No more buttons are pushed. So because no buttons are pushed, we go and the timer kicks in, and when we get the next I'm calling it a timer, but it's our second pulse. It goes every second. In reality, every 50 nanoseconds in the test bench. It goes, and once that goes through, we start, well, it moved on me. We start our player 1 score update, and the 5 points that are round points, and it was 13-3, so 13 minus 8 is 5. We had 5 points in round points. When this signal goes and comes off, there, those points are assigned. The reason you see 2 5s there is one is player one score, the other is the tens digit for player one. And so both of those are updating since it's just a logic process. It's not synchronous, it flows straight through, so they both go at the same time to that 5. So while this is happening, well, first of all, here's our blanks. We're both in single digits here, so our tens digits blanked on both of them. If I jump ahead right there, we just missed it. You can see where one of the 10 digits fell off. That's where the score here went from 5 to 11, and so we no longer need to blank the tens digit there. And then in our, get back here, our segments, you know, what you're looking at there is a 1, I believe. So the tens digit's a 1, and it stays a 1, you know, and then the ones digit's a 1, so we've got our segments. As we go through, as the scores change, you can see the segments change, and that's easier to see on the hardware than the test bench. Let's see here. So, going back up, we're playing the current, let's see. Okay, we're back. Here we are again in play mode, hitting buttons, counting button presses. We cruise along, and the points get assigned. And now this one was press count 13 to 3 again, and so we've got another 5 points. I'll jump ahead a little bit. Here's a situation where we have a bunch of button presses outside of the play mode. Outside of the play mode, that's the play mode signal, but the state's up here too. Outside of the play mode. And so since we're not in the play mode state, we don't have play mode signal, all these presses are not added to our press counts. They don't count those, only when we are in the state we want to be, which is the play mode state, to count those. So going through, let's see, where's our score? Player one score, 5 to nothing. We need to keep on, let's move on down. 11 to 1, 17 to 7. Okay, here we go. We hit 23. So we were at 17. We get to 23. Player one wins the game. Our game finish signal goes active. Our player one wins the game signal goes active. That keeps us from kicking back. And so that's the end of the game. And everything's working pretty smoothly in test bench. We do have one issue. When we tried to transition the point assign for the extra button press to the state machine, and I've just realized that in doing that, the state machine, it's not a synchronous process, and so it doesn't detect it right away like it would in a synchronous process. I'm running low on time, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this in, but that's a pretty easy fix. I had it right before, I just have to turn it back. And the other issue we have in our state machine that we are going to ask you about tomorrow is on our LEDs. Where are our LEDs? Here are LEDs. So the issue is on our counter, it's not counting all of the button presses. And it's got to be a simple thing, but we can't figure it out. So we will ask you about that tomorrow. Other than that, everything is pretty close.